Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Doc Martin. Doc Martin is a British television medical comedy drama series starring Martin Clunes in the title role. It was created by Dominic Minghella after the character of Dr Martin Bamford in the 2000 comedy film Saving Grace. The show is set in the fictional seaside village of Portwenn, and filmed on location in the village of Port Isaac, Cornwall, England, with most interior scenes shot in a converted local barn. 7 series aired between 2004–2015, together with a feature-length special that aired on Christmas Day 2006. The 8th, and most recent series began airing on ITV on the 20th of September 2017, and will stream in the United States and Canada on Acorn TV. And an American TV remake of the series is also being planned. On the 11th of January 2017, Martin Clunes confirmed that Doc Martin will end in 2018 with its 9th and final series. Synopsis. Dr. Martin Ellingham, a brilliant and successful vascular surgeon at Imperial College London, develops hemophobia, forcing him to stop practicing surgery. He obtains a post as the sole general practitioner in the sleepy Cornish village of Portwenn, where he had spent childhood holidays with his Aunt Joan, who owns a local farm. Upon arriving in Portwenn, where to his frustration the locals address him as Doc Martin, he finds the surgery in chaos and inherits an incompetent receptionist, Elaine Denham. In Series 2-4 she is replaced by Pauline Lamb, a new receptionist and later also a phlebotomist. In Series 5 Morwenna New Cross takes up the post. The show revolves around Ellingham's interactions with the local Cornish villagers. Despite his medical excellence, Ellingham is grouchy, pugnacious and lacks social skills. His direct, emotionless manner offends many of the villagers, made worse by his invariably unpleasant responses to their ignorant, often foolish comments. They perceive him to be hot-tempered and lacking in a bedside manner, whereas he feels he is performing his duties in a professional and by-the-book manner, not wasting time chatting. Ellingham is very deadpan, and dresses formally in a business suit and tie regardless of the weather or the occasion. And he never takes off his jacket even when delivering babies. He does not smoke, and has no hesitation in pointing out the risks of unhealthy behaviors both in private and in public gatherings. The villagers eventually discover his fear of blood and the frequent and debilitating bouts of nausea and vomiting it causes. In spite of this handicap, Ellingham proves to be an expert diagnostician and responds effectively to various emergencies in his medical practice. Thus he gradually gains grudging respect from his neighbours. Ellingham's Aunt Joan Norton provides emotional support in the face of the controversy his impatient manner causes among the villagers. When she dies after a heart attack, her sister Ruth, a retired psychiatrist, comes to Portwenn to take care of her affairs and eventually decides to use the village as a permanent retreat, offering Martin the support Joan had provided. Ellingham finds it difficult to express his developing romantic feelings towards primary school teacher Louisa Glasson. He often spoils rare tender moments with, for example, a comment about an unpleasant medical condition or by requesting a stool sample. Martin eventually proposes to Louisa, but on the day of their wedding they suddenly break their engagement. Louisa leaves for a job in London, returning after 6 months visibly pregnant with Martin's child. When the child is born, the couple renew their relationship. Following much indecision, Martin resolves to remain in Portwenn and marries Louisa, but continued arguments relating to his insensitive nature lead to their becoming estranged again. In Series 7, Louisa lives in Martin's surgery with their baby James Henry while Martin boards in the village. and sees a therapist for his inability to form and maintain relationships. Original character. Martin Clunes originally played a character called Dr. Martin Bamford in the 2000 film Saving Grace and its two made-for-TV prequels Doc Martin and Doc Martin and The Legend of the Clouty, which were made by British Sky Broadcasting. The prequels show Bamford as a successful obstetrician rather than a surgeon, who finds out that his wife has been carrying on extramarital affairs behind his back. After confronting her with his discovery, he escapes London and heads for Port Isaac, a small coastal town in Cornwall which he remembers fondly from his youth. Shortly after he arrives, he is involved in the mystery of the jelly maker and, following the departure of the village's resident GP, decides to stay and fill the vacancy. In these three films, the village is not known as Portwenn. The Martin Bamford character is friendly and laid-back, seeming to enjoy his retreat from the career pressures and conflicts he left behind in London. He drinks and smokes carelessly, including a mild illegal drug, and has no problem getting his hands and clothes dirty by temporarily working as a lobster and crab fisherman aboard a local boat. The original deal had been to produce 2 television films per year for 3 years. But Sky Pictures folded after the first 2 episodes were made, so Clunes' company tried to sell the franchise to ITV. The new network felt that the Doctor character should be portrayed as a townie, a fish out of water who is uncomfortable in the countryside. They also wanted something darker, so Clunes suggested that the Doctor be curmudgeonly, socially inept and formal. The new Doctor's surname was changed to Ellingham, an anagram of the last name of the new writer, Dominic Minghella, who was brought in to rework the Doctor's background and create a new cast of supporting characters. Along with Clunes, the only actors to appear in both versions of Doc Martin are Tristan Sturrock and Tony Maudsley. Episodes. 7 series totaling 54 episodes aired on ITV in the UK between 2004 and 2015. Episodes are just under 50 minutes long, except for the 2006 TV film, which is 92 minutes. In the US, American Public Television provided the 2006 TV film as a 2-part episode, with the second episode airing the week after the first. The first 3 series were broadcast from 2004 until 2007. Subsequent series have initially aired only in odd-numbered years. Ratings. In the UK, Doc Martin has been a ratings success for ITV, with the third series achieving ITV's best midweek drama performance in the 9 p.m. Monday slot since December 2004. The final episode of the third series was watched by 10.37 million viewers, which is the program's highest ever viewing figure for a single episode. In 2009, Doc Martin was moved to a 9 p.m. Sunday time slot for the broadcast of Series 4. That change meant that it followed on from ITV's The X Factor program. Series 4 ratings were adversely affected by STV not screening the majority of ITV drama productions in Scotland. The final episode of Series 4 had ratings of 10.29 million viewers. STV went back on its decision not to screen ITV drama in Scotland. Series 4 of Doc Martin was broadcast on Sunday afternoons in August 2011. Foreign adaptations. Notro Films produced a Spanish version under the title Dr. Mateo for Antena 3 television. It aired in 2009 and was shot in Las Dos Asturias. Called the fictional village of San Martin del Cella. French television producers Ego Productions, in cooperation with TF1, have produced a French version of the series starring Thierry Lhermitte as Dr. Martin Le Foll. with the series based in the fictional Breton town of Portwenn. In Germany, Dr. Martin, an adaptation of the original series, airs on ZDF with Axel Milberg as Dr. Martin Helling, a surgeon from Berlin. The counterpart of Portwenn was the real village of Neuharlingersiel in East Frisia, in Greece. Kliniki Periptosi, an adaptation of the original series, was aired in November 2011 on Mega Channel, with Yanis Bezos as Marcos Stikos, a surgeon from New York. In the Netherlands, Dr. Tinus, based on the original series, began airing in late August 2012 on SBS 6, with the main role being played by actor Tom Hoffman. The series was shot in Woudrichem. A Russian version is mentioned in the series' 5 DVD bonus material. In 2014, Czech television began filming their own TV series starring Miroslav Donatel, which is heavily inspired by the original British series. The series started to air from the 4th of September 2015. The Czech version is set in the Beskidy Mountains, which is a picturesque area in the east of the Czech Republic, like Portwenn, a long way from the capital Prague and dependent on the tourist industry. An American remake of the show is being planned, led by Marta Kaufman, co-creator of the successful TV show Friends. DVD releases: Series 1, 2 and 3 and On the Edge were released separately in Region 1 and 2 and in the complete Series 1 to 3 box set. Series 3 was released on the 2nd of February 2010, and Series 4 was released in Region 1 and 2 on the 6th of July 2010. Series 5 was released in Region 1 on the 5th of June 2012 and Region 2 on the 5th of March 2012. A complete box set of Series 1-5 is also available in Region 2. Series 6 of Dr. Martin was released in Region 1 in December 2013 and in the UK on the 24th of March 2014. Series 7 of Dr. Martin was released on DVD, Blu-ray in Region 1 on December 8, 2015, and in the UK on the 16th of November 2015. In Region 4, Series 1, 2, 4 and On the Edge were released separately and in a 9-disc box set entitled Dr. Martin, Comedy Cure, as well as an earlier 7-disc box set not including Series 4. The two Sky Pictures telefilms were individually released in Region 4 on the Magna Pacific label, but are now out of print. Series 1-7 are streaming on Acorn TV in the US and Canada. The show is available on Netflix. Series 1-6 are currently available on Amazon Prime Video. Brought to you by WikiVidi.com. Would you like to know more?